welcome everybody. All right. So as you look to increase your energy, and this is going to be something as we work on affirmations, as we work on our businesses, all of these things, if we want to become better, if we want to be more motivated, energy is typically something that plays into all of this. So the first thing that I typically do is I look at a 72-hour window. Now I'm going to look at my diet, nutrition, and I'm going to look at my exercise for the last 72 hours. Now, I am not going to sit here and be your nutrition police. I'm not going to sit here and say, you've got to go lose weight or do this much activity or do this or do that, right? Like everybody knows what's important to them. The reason that physical activity is so important to me, it was before this happened, but I've shared this before. When I was 21, my dad passed away. He was 48 years old. And one of the reasons for that was the way that he lived his life, not caring about nutrition and not putting enough emphasis on his physical activity until the last couple of years. And by then it was pretty much too late. He didn't turn it around in time and some other things happened. So physical fitness has always been something important to me. And I've had those moments in my life, especially during some of those rough times when I was dealing with depression, dealing with other things where fitness was about the only thing that I felt like I had control of. I remember at one point taking a couple of pictures and seeing those pictures and I could just see it in my face, the lack of motivation, the lack of health, the lack of life. And so I made a switch. At that point, I decided truly, if I wasn't going to be able to be in my children's life every single day the way I needed to, like putting them to bed every night because of the divorce and cooking breakfast in the morning, if I couldn't do that every single day, I was going to make sure that when I was there, I was physically able to be there with energy, with love, with excitement, and that I was going to be around as long as they needed me, right? As long as I could be. Wherever you guys are in your life, you have to understand how important your health and nutrition are. Curtis mentioned at the beginning of this, one of his great things that he was able to do was spend time with the grandkids over the weekend. I'm sure that's something he wants to keep doing for decades to come. And so health and nutrition is a big part of that, right? So first thing that you need to do though, if you're looking at your energy, guys, we don't need to beat ourselves up over the last 10, 15, 20 years. We need to start looking at a 72-hour window. How was my food over this, not just the weekend, but because it isn't just, I forgot my coffee this morning, or I ate something bad for breakfast, or I didn't sleep well the last little bit. I woke up at 4 o'clock and I couldn't get back to sleep. And so that's why I'm messed up now. No. Was it at dinner on Friday night when you were going to have one glass of wine, you ended up with 3 or 4? Did your cheat meal that you were going to have turn into a 48-hour food fest? Friday, I had fajitas. And then maybe I had the fajita leftovers on Saturday. And then maybe Sunday, I was getting ready to eat something else. I know why my energy today isn't necessarily where it should be. I know I need to get back in and do the work to get rid of some of that stuff in my body. Because look, guys, the toxins that come from food, your body's ability or inability to break down food, alcohol, vitamins, whatever, doesn't necessarily happen in a 2 to 4 hour window. It takes time. The lack of oxygen in your blood that plays into energy, the lack of the nutrients in your blood, that doesn't happen right away. It's the same thing when I start taking supplements. Most of these supplements don't automatically enter my bloodstream after I take my first few vitamins. Some of them take a week or more before my levels of iron and B12 and everything else start to get to the place where they need to be. So if your energy is low, the first thing you need to do is you need to look at a 72-hour window. Start to pay attention. And look, that's a rolling thing, obviously. So I'm going to start to change how I'm acting now as I replace the time before. So that's your first thing. Next is look at what energy, one reason, not just health and nutrition, but mentally and emotionally, what may have sunk its hooks into you over the weekend, what frustrated you, what upset you, what left you contemplating too much. If you have something that is weighing you down, you need to look at it, find a way to release or find a way to take action to start to modify what is there, right? if there is anything that is, if it's something that you cannot handle yourself, then by all means seek out the help that is necessary. If it's something that you're holding on to, be it from a political spectrum or looking at what's going on in the world, there is some craziness happening all over this planet. Guys, some of it we have control over and some we don't. But if we're not at optimal health because we're concerned with things we have zero control over, it becomes a parasite for our own energy. And you've got to be willing to release some of it and keep things focused. Right? So, one message from Michelle: energy, sleep, hydration, nutrition, movement. So this is why I think nutrition and movement are kind of 1 and 2 when it comes to energy. And hydration, I will put together with nutrition. I've done trainings on that, when I did with Chris and my buddy that I had on, and we'll bring him on again soon. I was talking to him over the weekend. Sometimes people say, no, it's sleep. Can I get an agreement with everybody? If my health from a nutrition standpoint is in line where it should be, and this goes to hydration, so food, alcohol, water intake, like all of that, if that's where it should be, and I'm physically active, typically my sleep is going to be a little better, right? It is a cycle. You go 1 and 2, and then sleep comes in 3, and sometimes go, well, if my sleep is off, then it messes with other stuff. Well, the other stuff gets messed with first, truly, right? And you want to get to that sleep, but then that's also where the energy hooks that I was talking about with mental and emotional drain can play into it. You've got it. It is absolutely a cycle, guys. So if you're looking at how to increase your energy, how to increase your motivation, especially on Monday mornings, then get your nutrition in line. Yeah, even if you sleep a little bit less, but if the nutrition is in line, you're going to be okay. You can make it through. Okay, so it's Monday. Let's look at our energy, figure out what we need to do to improve, take those steps now. And that's my main message for you today. And I woke up today because of, the meals and stuff I had over the weekend, kind of thinking about it and getting a few people messaging me, struggling with it. So on that note,